Hello and welcome back.
So before we begin, I'm going to introduce you to the terminal on Mac and Linux and to the command prompt on Windows. The terminal on side of a Mac can be found under Applications and then scroll all the way down till you get to the Utilities and then scroll over to the Terminal app. A quicker way to hit it is Command Spacebar and that'll bring up the Finder and type in Terminal, or you can go to the upper right hand section and type in Terminal and that'll bring it up. Because it's so important to programming on a Mac or Linux, I tend to keep mine docked so it's easily and readily accessible. On Windows, it's slightly different. To get access to it, you can click the search windows or the little Windows icon there. It's usually in the most used. If you search, you can type in command and that'll pop it up. Or you can hit Windows icon R and that'll bring up the run command. Type in cmd.exe and hit OK, and that'll also bring up the command prompt. So this has been just a quick introduction to getting access to the command prompt, so when you see me using it, you'll understand how I did it.
So before we can begin programming, we need to install all of our dependencies. So the first dependency that we're going to need is the exercise files. Those are located at this Git URL. To get the files, if you know how to use Git, then simply git clone it. Otherwise, you can download the zip file and extract it. In my case, I extracted it to my home directory, and I created a directory called sites with make.dir sites, and then I extracted the files into there. Once you do that, the very next thing you're going to need is Node, which you can follow the link to, or you can just go to nodejs.org. Node is a server that is written in JavaScript. You can download the long-term service release or the most current one. The difference is the long-term service release is meant for corporations. It means that Node is going to support it for the next 3 to 4 years. So as patches or software vulnerabilities are found, they're going to keep updating it. Meanwhile, the current release is the one with the newest features. For development purposes, you generally use the current one because it has the latest features as it displays in the tag there. So once you install it, you can verify you have it by typing in node-v, which tells you which version of Node you're running. You should also type in npm-v, which will let you know if you have the Node Package Manager. The Node Package Manager is how we're going to install our dependencies. So whenever you cd into wherever you have currently stored the files, type npm install. And what that's going to do is there's a package.json file. And inside of here, it lists what the dependencies are. The only one we need is Express, which is just going to allow us to run the server easily inside of Node. And if you're curious, inside this folder here called Node Modules, that's where all the dependencies are going to be stored. Once that's through running, since I've already installed all this, there are no dependencies for it to install. The next thing we're going to need is Bower. Bower is a front-end dependency manager, so npm handles the server-side dependencies. Now we need dependencies for our browser. So we're going to type in npm install global Bower. And at that point, it's going to go out to the web and install the latest version of Bower. And we'll know we have it if we type in Bower version. And you can see here both these match. So from there, we type in Bower install. Again, because I already have all the dependencies, that's going to be a quick check. But those are in the bower.json file. And here you can see I'm going to be using Jasmine, Jasmine jQuery, Bootstrap, and jQuery as my dependencies. And those are installed in the Bower_components. Once we have those installed, the next thing we're going to need is Google Chrome, which I recommend because it has the V8 engine, which is the same JavaScript engine that Node uses, and because it has advanced debugging tools that we're going to be working with quite a bit in the following lectures. Next, you can use either WebStorm or Atom. There are, of course, a ton of other options, but these are two that I usually use. WebStorm is what is known as an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. This means that it has version managers and package managers and a whole bunch of other stuff built right into it. The downside is that it requires more RAM, it runs slower, it's slower to launch, etc. Or you can use Atom. Atom is completely free, whereas WebStorm is a 30-day free trial. Because it's completely free and because it's built in Electron, which is a JavaScript engine that runs on the operating system. That means you'll be running a JavaScript server, a JavaScript front end with the browser, and then you'll be running a JavaScript text editor on your operating system. And that synergy is really nice. And this is what Atom looks like. So once you have all that installed, if you type in npm start, this will go to the node app.js file, and it'll tell you what port you're running your server on. To verify your port, type in localhost 5000. And if all goes well, you'll see the obligatory hello world output into your browser. And then if you follow your path to chapter 1 and then specrunner.html, which when you look at Atom, you'll see that's chapter 1 and then specrunner.html. That'll take you right here. And that'll get us started with working with the JavaScript files. So in this lecture, you have seen how to download and install all of the dependencies necessary to get this exercise file up and running.